Welcome everyone to the transmission that we're offering to support everyone in amplifying greater levels of freedom. It is my honor to be here with you, and the Council of Light is fully present, as are your higher selves, your guides and advisors, my guides and advisors. There's a big party going on in the higher dimensions. There's angelic realm, crystalline people, starseed families gathering to really support each of us in our own unique way in connecting to and remembering our innate freedom as a being that is already one with an infinite source. So just inviting each of you to lean into your beam of light that you are, inviting your body devas to do the same. They're going to have their own unique beams of light. Your body devas are nature spirits of earth. You are the writer of that particular nature spirit being, the writer inside. So just inviting everyone here present that will be live, or if you re-listen later or you're listening for the first time later, know that an aspect of you is present with us in the now. As we invite each of you to bring all of your energy and awareness into your column of light, your pillar of light that emanates from source, to bring all your reference points for you, all your anchor points for you, off of everyone and everything in the outer world, back into the present moment, back into your beam of light, so that all of you can be fully present in the now, inviting a recalibration of your timing into the appropriate rhythm and flow of this now moment, which happens to be Mercury retrograde timing at the time of this transmission. And so just inviting each of you to invite your higher selves to calibrate your timing appropriately, recognizing that you are shifting you. We are simply providing a safe and supportive energetic environment that is conducive for you to shift you in a very empowering, graceful way. And we serve to remind you that you can shift you simply through your free will, conscious choice and intention in collaboration with your higher self. And then when you invite the body, David, to come along with you, everything begins to sync up in a beautiful way. So deep breath in. And as I was connecting to the session throughout the day, because it starts to kind of drip in, the closer it gets to the time that we kind of initiate the transmission officially, it starts to trickle in. I start to get impressions of what's being called forth, because you begin to gather in truth in the higher realms. And as you gather with us in an agreement, really, to collaborate, we begin to get the energetic information. It begins to trickle in, because you're actually the ones calling forth what we share. So inviting you to own that seat in a very authentic way. It's really an empowerment. These sessions that we offer are never about doing anything to you or for you. It's about reminding you what you're capable of doing. Deep breath in. And will you welcome the remembering of that in a conscious way, in a more conscious way, so that you can step into greater empowerment? And will you retrieve all the responsibility from any lifetime that you've given to an outer something to shift you, to be the source for you? Will you retrieve all that responsibility back to you, holding it at the level of your higher self, in your beam of light, in your pillar of light, because that's where all your supply lives. It's in that pillar of light that emanates from source. It's in the ray of light that you are. So can we show you how to retrieve all your reference points for your resources back to your beam of light, back to source? That is you. You're one with it. And so we're going to show you what we mean by that and how to do that for yourself. We're going to invite the Body Davis and teams to do this also. Because as you welcome the next level of freedom, or anything, really, if you're attempting to source it externally, it's going to seem like you can't find it, you can't get it. It's always elusive. It's like the carrot on the stick, because it's not out here. And so everywhere you've made something out in the external world, something separate from you, responsible for your freedom, will you release and uncreate that? And can we show you how to do that? Anywhere you're running a template, program, paradigm that's ancestral, or maybe from 10 lifetimes ago when we were indoctrinated into a certain religion or culture or tribal way of being, where we gave our power away to an external source to be responsible for and to be the source of our freedom. Can you now recognize that that was a learning, that it doesn't live outside of you? And it wasn't for nothing that we did it. We did it to grow, shift, and evolve in certain ways, to cultivate certain qualities within ourselves. You could say it was for our soul growth and evolution. There was a purpose. We were playing a role also for others to cultivate what they were cultivating. And so can we bring in the perspective of how it is actually all the stuff in separation consciousness, no matter how messy it gets, has a purpose. It's all for a learning. And are you willing to allow reinterpretation of your relationship with all of it, all the messy? Will you allow your higher self to reinterpret your relationship with all of it to a higher octave, where you can see it through a broader perspective, a higher perspective, and not be holding anyone hostage for a role they played, including yourself or God or a specific tribe or culture, a group, even in the current play out of roles. We could see, oh, well, there's a group that would oppress and there's a group that would be victims. And what if none of it's right or wrong? So are you willing to begin to reach for the liberation, the real true freedom that lives beyond the clinging to the points of view in 3D in separation that would have you kind of set up to have a nemesis or an enemy or something to overcome, the catalyst? And can you begin to welcome being your own catalyst for expansion, where you simply choose in the direction of what you're inviting for yourself? You don't need the catalyst because you're conscious and aware enough to simply step into your power and know, oh, if I wish to have more freedom, I can just cultivate more of it within myself. We're going to explain that a little bit more here in a moment. So we're helping now, as you're willing to move into this reinterpretation, we're helping you at the level of your higher selves to work through various lifetimes, various incarnations, and even unravel ancestral threads of, you could call it ancient grudges that are being held on some level where there was a learning taking place and certain roles were being played, but a part of us is still holding the lower perspective and hasn't really fully moved into the complete forgiveness and release of whatever it was. And on some level, a part of your identity is still plugged in there. it's as if you kind of pull this identity of you as a victim or as a perpetrator, even as a guilty something or other, or a weak or just empowered something or other, and you pull it in, you bring it into the now with you because it's still vibrating somewhere in your consciousness, even if it's unconscious. It's active in your vibration, it's active in your energetic fields. It hasn't been fully integrated. So we're going to show you what we mean by that and invite you at the level of your higher selves to work with the energetic fields and the guides to go back in time to the appropriate end of life reviews at the end of those incarnations and to do the appropriate cleanup where you activate all vibrations of those spiritual lessons in the appropriate order, timing, and dimensions, where you send appropriate energetic information to everyone involved at the level of their higher selves and return any bundles or fragments back to them that you were holding through a perception that they hurt or harmed you, when really you were holding on to the trauma of the fragments just to remind yourself to activate the vibration of the spiritual lesson. So we're going to invite you, your body, and your teams to move this to a place of completion in a gentle, graceful way, really outside of time, outside of linear time, that is, with your guides and advisors. They're there to help you. The angelic beings are there to help you. The body, Dave, and nature spirits, angelic helpers are there to help it. And teams too can have their own little grudges they haven't yet fully integrated. If we're holding a vibration of a lack of forgiveness somewhere, it will project in our world as lack. Remember, the outer world is the reflection. So when we mentioned earlier that if you're noticing a lack of freedom in your outer world, it's simply the reflection showing you what you really want is to activate more freedom within your being, within your light, what you are. It can also mean that the reflection is an indicator where you're holding discordant vibrations of lack of freedom that don't belong to you. Perhaps ancestral, perhaps a tribe from various lifetimes. Perhaps it's a bundle from a client or loved one in a past lifetime. And so when we're holding the bundles of others, they will reflect in our world as though they're our own, because it's the same as if you were standing in front of a mirror holding a bouquet of flowers or a puppy. You would see the bouquet of flowers or the puppy in the mirror, even if they weren't your bouquet of flowers or your puppy. And so whatever you're holding in your energetic fields, you're going to see in the mirror. So if you've been a little frustrated or confused, why am I not experiencing myself as free or as abundant or as joyful when a part of me knows I already am? A part of me knows I'm one with Source. Probably the culprit is things hanging out in your energetic field that don't belong to you. And so there are various processes and protocols we go through to release, to transform, to clean, to get back into your own energy only. And we'll probably do a little bit of that here, but recognize that it comes on in layers, so it leaves in layers. And it can be a process. And I know they're showing me, for instance, so when we do a series like we're getting ready to launch here on June 5th, which is all about being and liberation, it's about, okay, how do we experience ourselves as fully free? Because we know we are. So why isn't it reflecting? Why isn't my world reflecting that back to me? Why isn't that the heaven on earth I experience? Well, the reason we incarnate here is so we can have the reflection to see what's running in our energetic fields so we can clean it up. So this being and liberation series, we're going to really look at and dive deep into, okay, what are we holding that isn't ours, and letting go of that in a gentle, graceful way. And it's a rhythmic, systematic release. And then simultaneously, as we release and let go, we then activate our own next level because the distortions aren't in the way anymore. So it's this process of letting go, receiving what is you, remembering what is you, and then integrating that, like moving into it's like you recalibrate to the new you reacclimate, you reacclimatize. That's the word I'm looking for. You acclimatize to the new level so that you can maintain and sustain it. And we meet every week so that it's this rhythmic, systematic, okay, release, receive, integrate, recalibrate, acclimatize to this next level. And then we'll go a little more, a little more, a little more. So there's 5 weeks of that. It's amazing. I love doing it. So much fun. And then the last week is actually a roundtable where everybody gets to interact and ask questions and play. So if the reflection is not in alignment and agreement with what you know to be true, chances are that there's some cleanup to do. And it can be, we just looked at this piece, but it can be places and spaces in our consciousness where a part of us is still anchored in an old identification. So this process we just did with the forgiveness and release was to address that aspect. So deep breath in, we're going to invite a balancing and stabilizing of your energetic fields, updating all grids, all reference points, all ways in which you perceive and are perceived. And I wonder what it would take for you to begin to experience in real time, in this incarnation, the freedom that is innately you and yours. And I wonder what that would feel like. Whatever doesn't allow that for you, will you release and uncreate it? Deep breath in. So we're going to invite each of you at the level of your higher selves to work with the energetic fields and the guides to connect to your spiritual helpers. You might even call it your spiritual family. Etherically, that are representatives of the world you're from. And even if you don't get this on a conscious level, just invite some energetic aspect of you to do this for you, to locate an appropriate dimension where you can literally sit with these beautiful representatives, beings, helpers, spiritual family. And we're going to invite them to sing to you your song. As this is occurring, we're just witnessing a lot of things fall away that aren't compatible with your song, your essence. You can think of this as an attunement to your authenticity. It may bring up emotion. Please allow that. And now we'd like to support you in bringing in some energetic codes, sounds, light, frequencies, sacred shapes that are compatible with you, again, from the world you're from, to support you in activating greater freedom and flow within you to the degree that's appropriate. We're also witnessing you as a soul, remembering how to hold your reference points for freedom in your pillar of light, not referencing it on the external, not referencing it on money or getting to travel or whatever it is outside of you, referencing the freedom that is in an infinite supply within your divine column of light. It's like a river of freedom there. Referencing it there and retrieving all responsibility for your freedom off of everyone and everything, holding that at the level of your higher self. And then again, amplifying this current of freedom within. We're going to invite your teams to do the same, to also work with the angelic beings of love and light in collaboration with the beings in the world they're from, to sing their song to them and for them to also do this process, amplifying greater freedom within themselves. It's like an attunement to what you are, who you are in truth. And then from that authentic reference point, my quality of freedom, amplify what's my quality of freedom. Because it's unique to you and it only works for you. Can't give your supply of freedom away to another to help them. It doesn't work for them. They can't use it. So it's about them, you being the example, the way shower, teaching them. Basically, to teach is to demonstrate. Encouraging others to get the freedom, to source the freedom within themselves to a greater degree so that they have it. They have an infinite supply within themselves. So it's never our job to be the source for another. So just bringing that layer in as well, that remembering. And for the body devas, this piece, and we'll do a process here with the body devas in a moment. And as you attune to literally your version of freedom, it's like a frequency, a sound, a resonance, inviting you to ripple and reflect it down through your entire pillar of light, along your whole loop of light, equally distributing it. And now it's much easier to discern any fabric, layers, qualities of freedom you're attempting to use that don't belong to you, that maybe somebody tried to give you in some incarnation. So inviting you at the level of your higher self to return all of that isn't yours back to its right and perfect place, along with all relevant and appropriate energetic information, empathic sensations, issues, karma, magnetic attraction that is not yours. Letting everyone have their own fuel for their own evolution. Deep breath in. If there's a perception arising of I don't get to have, take a moment to, and it could just be an emotion that's vibrating there in that point of view. Take a moment to lean into, what if this isn't even mine? This point of view, this emotion, this I don't get to have, this lack. What if this isn't even mine? Deep breath in. And everywhere you identified with it as yours, if it's not yours, will you release and uncreate that? Can we show you what was really going on? And are you willing to release all the meaning you've given it? And you don't have to know this intellectually. So when we do these kinds of processes, there's a part of you that knows that we're working with, it knows. So let it hold the responsibility for knowing all the details. Your job in this collaboration is really just to be willing to give permission to choose it if you choose. Again, this is all free will based. So it's almost like at some point we just let go of needing to understand it and say, you know what? I just want my freedom and who I am. And I know this isn't me. I know this isn't in alignment with who I really am in truth. So have at it, higher self, rearrange. I release all the meaning I've given it. And again, that's just me modeling how I work with these tools for me. Completely surrender it to my higher self. But again, I'm choosing. It's not disempowering, and I'm not giving the power outside of me for someone else to fix it. It's a higher aspect of you doing the work. It's part of you. But there is this aspect of surrendering to the higher aspect of you, letting it know for you, letting it do the work, letting it rearrange your consciousness appropriately. And for me, what was most helpful in this when I was first learning and applying these tools for me and following my guidance, my guides kind of working with me on this in the Council of Light, they were training me really, was it's like the most important thing at some point was I just wanted who I was. I knew that all of this other stuff wasn't who I was. That's all I needed to know. That was enough. I didn't need to know why. I didn't need to know where it came from. I didn't need to know who it belonged to. I just needed to be able to have the awareness to choose to keep it or not. And if you're seeing it, and it's not something you would choose in this now moment to feel or be or experience or think, then that's an indicator that it's coming up for you to see it. It may or may not be yours. Doesn't really matter ultimately. What the tool I used to use initially was higher self. Here you go. Don't want it anymore. I choose my freedom instead, or I choose what I am instead. And that was enough. The choice is the important piece. And the willingness to hand it over to the part of you that can, I used to say, unhypnotize you from the illusion, but rearrange your consciousness into alignment with the truth of you. And if that means return this to Aunt whoever, Aunt Edna, or Uncle Frank, or 15 lifetimes ago, whoever that was, we don't need necessarily to micromanage all of that. That doesn't mean that we can't micromanage it. It doesn't mean that there are certain times where it's helpful for us to be conscious of specific details and choices that were made in that interaction 10 lifetimes ago. But what I've discovered is if we need to know the details, they'll be revealed to us. Otherwise, we're just in choice in this moment. Do I want to keep this or do I want to let it go? Am I choosing to go beyond it? Am I choosing to invite my higher self to shift me into a higher octave in relationship to it? Am I willing to release all the meaning I've given it in the past so it can become anew? Because we're really holding all the power, even though it doesn't look like that. Deep breath in. We know it can be confusing because we're taught to perceive everything opposite of what it actually is. So part of this training is shifting how we see circumstances, even thoughts and emotions. So everything that brings up for you that isn't congruent with what you're choosing in this now moment to align and agree with, will you release and uncreate it? Will you allow your higher self to reinterpret it appropriately within your consciousness through all time frames and dimensions, known and unknown, past, present, and future? Will you choose your freedom instead? Will you choose who you are instead? And will you release all the meaning you've given it in the past? Whether it was a day ago, a minute ago, or 50 lifetimes ago, doesn't matter. Our now moment choice takes precedence. Doesn't matter how long it's been hanging out in our energetic fields or our consciousness. Doesn't matter how deeply unconscious it was or is. So now we're going to work with the body devas, because you are a soul riding in the body, literally on the front of the body spine. Your beam of light rests hopefully firmly on the front of the body spine. You might intend for that. You're tightly seated in the saddle, contained within your beam, not leaking onto the body, letting the body have its domain. Body Deva's energy runs through the spine, the spinal cord. Its beam of light emanates from Gaia in the heart of Source. Gaia's divine spark originates in the heart of Source, and the Body Deva's divine spark is in the heart of Gaia. It's like a fractal. So we're going to just invite the Body Devas to reorient in who they are in truth. The Body Devas have mastery of Earth, all the resources of Earth, manifesting resources of Earth, living in the freedom and the flow that nature enjoys. They are a part, an aspect of the oneness fabric of Gaia nature. So we're going to invite the Body Devas to remember that, to reorient appropriately, and to release any overlays off of their identity, off of their perceptions of themselves that don't belong to them. Return it, send appropriate energetic information. We're going to invite you as a soul to get any overlays you put onto the Body Deva, any control energy you maybe have had on the Body Deva, off of the Body Deva, retrieve all that energy back to you. Clean it, reweave it on you, for you, recalibrate it for you. Let the Body Deva be in control of itself. It is its own being and its own sovereignty, and it is an amazing, miraculous, resourceful, masterful nature spirit that knows how to thrive as an aspect of Earth, as an aspect of Gaia. So letting the Body Deva and encouraging the Body Deva to move back into its own sovereignty, to hold all responsibility for itself, the level of its higher self, and to only hold responsibility for its own freedom, no one else's. Because when we try to hold responsibility for another, things get messy fast. Then we become Source, then we take their bundles, then we start reflecting their puppies in the mirror and wondering why their puppies are showing up and not our own puppies. Deep breath in, finding the Body Devas to really get this peace for themselves in their own unique way. They have their own language, really, nature language. So we're bringing it in for the Body Devas in certain images and certain downloads, really, that are communications of the nature way, remembering the nature way, and freedom and flow and abundance and joy and being. It's like there's like a peace there. There's a calm, there's a having. Inviting the Body Devas, no matter what any other Body Devas are doing, inviting all the Body Devas at the level of their higher selves to retrieve all their reference points for their resources back to their beams of light. Firing everything outside of them from being the source. Releasing any of the crazy separation consciousness blame game. It's your fault I'm not free, or it's this government's fault, or it's this law, or this condition or circumstance. Inviting each of you at the level of your higher selves to be willing to release and uncreate all of that, and to invite your higher self to reinterpret all of that to a higher octave. It's disempowering and it's not true. It appears to be true because we agree to it. We agree to experience ourselves as a victim, experience ourselves in lack, limitation, not free, not safe, not supported. Are you willing to review all of those agreements that you're holding now? Body Davis 2. And to release what you've outgrown. Mark it complete. Activating all vibrations of all spiritual lessons, showing you all the lessons you're meant to learn through those experiences of you as less than what you really are. Reflecting that back into the now. We're also going to invite the body devas to, again, bring all reference points for your identity into the now. And to get really anchored in the now moment, really grounded in the now moment, syncing up with Gaia in the now, syncing up with Gaia's heartbeat, Gaia's rhythm, Gaia's breath. Inviting the body devas to activate greater flow connection within their columns of light. Remember connection. You're already connected. You're already one. Release anything that's not allowing that. And we invite a balancing and stabilizing of the energetic fields, updating all grids, all reference points, all ways in which you perceive and are perceived. Inviting you to shake out, reboot, just like a computer when that's done, integrating. I'm seeing some angelic beings step forward. And it feels ancestral. And there's a message being shared. And they're saying, we don't need you to hold our struggle for us, our challenges for us anymore. So anywhere you're holding the struggle, the challenges of the ancestors, inviting you at the level of your higher self, body, Davis, higher self, and teams to work with the energetic fields and the guides to return all of that back to them, along with all relevant and appropriate energetic information. And the responsibility for it. We're just watching that. Inviting a balancing and stabilizing the energetic fields, update all grids, all reference points. We're going to encourage the body deva to again, double, triple check. Am I referencing my freedom in my river of light? That is me. And inviting the body deva's teams to do the same, retrieving all responsibility for its freedom off of everyone and everything back to its higher self, team same. Inviting the body deva and teams to activate greater, it's like activate and amplify a greater river of freedom, current of freedom within your columns of light. Allowing for gentle amplification. And when that's complete, balance and stabilize, update all grids, all reference points. Good. Good. Feels complete. Awesome. Lovely. So it's amazing what we can remember. It's almost like we're remembering our magic wand. We're remembering we are the magic wand, and how to orient appropriately, how to activate what we're after, how to release what we've outgrown. And it can happen in a very accelerated way. And what we do in these sessions is literally equivalent to what you would do in an end of life review. But we do so many, it's like we do so much in a 1 90-minute session. It's like 8 lifetimes worth of work. And the reason that you're able to do this level of work is you're awake and aware and evolved enough. You had to get to a certain point where you were ready to do it in real time, feet on the ground, during the incarnation, while you're in the body, not after you leave on the other side, where you can still do it. But wow, we can sure do a lot more in real time. It goes a lot faster. It's much more accelerated. And it's one of the reasons many of you chose to incarnate at this time, because you knew you would have this kind of an opportunity, and this kind of an opportunity doesn't come along. It's showing it's like a cycle, right? A 26,000-year cycle. So it doesn't come along every day. And then not only that, to get chosen and to be able to volunteer, to be here, to have boots on the ground. There are many, many souls that lined up to be here for this, that it's like, okay, there's a certain quota. So celebrating that you actually have already technically won the lottery. You are incarnated on Earth at this very incredible time of accelerated expansion. And you're awake and you're aware. So you get to really use it to liberate yourself. As I mentioned, we incarnate here so that we have the mirror. We don't have the mirror on the other side. We can't see as clearly what's running in our energetic fields. We see it here. The contrast is here. We see it. And then if we are awake and aware enough, we know what to do. We know what to do with it. Oh, look, there's a puppy that isn't mine. Let's work with the higher self. Let's shift that. Let's choose our freedom instead. Let's choose what we are instead, so that we don't keep carrying these bundles with us incarnation after incarnation. This is a big time for cleanup and to move into your authentic self. And a lot of other things are happening right now, but we're going to stay on this kind of theme of what this kind of introduction and what the series that this will parlay into represents, which is an opportunity to fully liberate and to move into being in liberation. In other words, I'm it, I'm in it, I'm experiencing it in every area of my life. It's reflecting everywhere how liberated I truly am, because you are already truly liberated in truth. So now it's about, okay, how do I merge with that part of me that's already there and let go of everything that isn't compatible? And so we work through, again, this very systematic process in the series to bring that about. And it's all a collaboration between the Council of Light, your higher selves, your body Davis higher selves, all the teams, the guides, the advisors, working with everyone. We actually rehearse a lot in the higher dimensions, meaning we get really, really clear on the pieces ahead of time. We do a lot of work outside of the actual session time to prepare, to get honed in on the deepest core pieces. So the session can then just flow with grace and ease, and it hits on, you could say, the things that have the biggest bang for your buck within that framework. And also, whenever you do a series or a session with us, it comes with what we call a safe and supportive energetic container that you're literally held in to do the work. So that it's easier for you to shift you, because when you feel safe and supported to shift you, you will shift you. And the same for body deva. So the body deva is also held in the safe and supportive energetic container throughout. An aspect of that also is, just to get more clarity, the Council of Light, the guides and advisors that I work with help to model. It's like they're almost standing around you, modeling the stance energetically that you're calling yourself into. So it's like if you were learning a new dance and everyone around you was doing the dance, it would be much easier to remember and learn the dance. So it's like there's these beings working with you far beyond the mind, right? It's unconscious, modeling to you, showing you, demonstrating what you're moving into. So it's easier for you to move into it. And it feels safe. It's like when we go about our day in the physical realm, the beings around us in the physical realm, most of them are unconscious and not modeling, demonstrating the dance we're wishing to level up into. They're kind of modeling what we're leaving behind. So it's much easier to make the shift when we have these beings around us modeling for us energetically what we're leveling up into. I hope that's clear. Did my best to describe it in words. But it's, again, a lot of it's far beyond the mind. It's happening in other dimensions, but we do work with you multidimensionally. So there's a lot that happens beyond, even though the sessions are amazing and they're powerful and they're potent, and there's a lot of things we do in 90 minutes. And not to mention, you can re-listen and still get other layers, other pieces, other ahas. It's just so much more than what we do in a physical way. It's we employ the multidimensional capacities of you. We help you employ that. We help you access more of your resources and utilize more of your resources. It's expanded beyond the intellect, for sure. Expanded beyond the linear, for sure. So you can feel into you whether you'd like to join us for the series. We do still have an early bird rate effective for about the next 48 hours. You save about $111. So that expires on the 28th. And you can go to embracingtheinfinite.com to learn more. When we post this video, we'll put a link in the comments to on YouTube to that series description where you can learn more about being in liberation. Again, it starts next Sunday, June 5th. Excited about that collaboration. And then we also have this Saturday, if you'd like to do an interactive session with us, we have a 90-minute energetic support session that will be the last one we offer for a while. So you can choose to sign up just for that one session. When you go to our website and click on that, you might see where it says both sessions for May or just one. So you would want to select the May 28th session, unless you wanted to get the recording that we did, the other one we did this month. You could do both then if you wanted that. But there's a little drop-down arrow. You can select what you wish to sign up for. And then, as with all things, we do encourage an energetic exchange because it does increase your receptivity. We often use, and you may have seen us post on social media, the infinity symbol to symbolize the flow of abundance, that it really always wishes to balance itself, the giving and receiving. And in fact, on some level, a part of you will reach for that, bringing it into balance. So think of it in terms of, as you contribute any energetic exchange for anything, this is how much I'm willing to receive. Because it's in truth, this is the authentic, balanced flow that wishes to occur in every energetic exchange. And so if it honors you and you feel like you'd like to contribute, we've had people ask us, can we contribute something, a donation for the free session, a love offering? So we've made it available now on our website. There is a link at the top menu that says love donation, I believe, and you can choose the amount that you would like to contribute if you want to do that. And again, it's helping you move into this really authenticity with the energetic exchange. Again, if it resonates for you, that option is available. So we've made that available on our website. And we can put a link in here as well in the chat, as well as in the comments. So I'm just asking if there's any other pieces for this particular transmission. They're going to bring it in a moment. They're showing me they're preparing it. It feels like a download that's being prepared. Lovely. It's very sparkly. It's like these beautiful beings that represent the angelic beings supporting you, the Council of Light, your spiritual families, are weaving this gift. It's like a care package gift for you in preparing it. So I'm going to allow them to do that. And I'm being reminded to also just share that we're going to be offering, to keep your eye out, we're going to be offering and appearing on 2 different telesummits coming up in June and July. So if you're on our email list, you'll get the information for that. You can join our email list at embracingtheinfinite.com if you're not already on it. And you also get some free transmissions, recordings when you sign up. So those will be coming up and we'll be announcing the specifics of that. As we approach the equinox energetically, think of it as the light getting brighter. Energetically, meaning you may notice that you can see more clearly what's coming up to leave in your energetic fields. Like it will be spotlighted more, highlighted more obvious to you. And you can always come back to this recording or any of the recordings you have that are ours, or we have some on YouTube as well, to support you in that process of letting go. But that's also going to be happening for the collective simultaneously. So just recognize that this time period between now and around June 21st is going to be all about seeing the pieces more clearly that are coming up to leave, that are coming up to transform. Good. So they're just encouraging the empowered perspective with regard to that. It's like, oh, wait, I incarnated here so I could see these pieces. I'm so grateful I can actually see these pieces, because if I see it, I know what to ask for. I know what to invite. I know what to hand over or return. And if you're not sure if it's yours or not, just say, higher self, here you go. Return it if it's not mine, reinterpret it if it is. You don't always have to know at this level. It's about choice, and choosing to collaborate with your higher self is choice. Choosing to let the part of you that knows have it and handle it. It's like the willingness to let it go is a choice. Good. So again, inviting the empowered perspective. So if you notice kind of, okay, there's this piece coming up and part of me is like, oh, this again, da, da, da. Notice if that reaction to it is actually what's being invited to be handed over that may not even be yours. It's almost like a little bit of an identification of as a victim in relationship to the bundles, the stuff, the whatever this symbolizes that's coming up. So it's like we can get really, really clear at this time. And because Mercury's in retrograde right now, then for the next 10 days or so, 8-10 days, we can get more, it's like slow down and get more still, more present with what's being spotlighted. Good. So that's a choice. It's an opportunity for that. We're just kind of bringing forward that perspective of what this time can actually be used for, if it resonates. Good. Deep breath in. Care package is almost ready. They're just putting the finishing touches. I'm being shown ribbon being tied around it. Lovely. Okay, good. Okay, and I just want to mention one more thing, and then we'll look at the care package. We'll get to unwrap it, and it's unique to each of you. We do have one more place, one more spot available if you've been wanting to work one-on-one with us. We have one more space available to start in June. So just reach out to us and we can look at that. And this is, we're referring to our series of private sessions that you can do with us. There's a bundle of 6 private sessions that you can choose to do every week or every other week. And it's a really potent, accelerated upshift. So you can feel into that. All right, deep breath in. So inviting each of you at the level of your higher selves, your body, David's higher selves, to remember how to receive in an authentic way and to open your energetic receptors appropriately in the appropriate dimensions to receive. And so it's almost like instead of opening to receive from outside of you, redirecting those energetic receptors within your beam of light. It's almost like little tentacles where you would redirect them within various dimensions of your river of light. And you would open to receive there from your river, from your light, where you can. And I just felt a huge relaxation, like almost like you've been looking and trying to figure out how to receive from the outer world and it wasn't working. And you finally just remembered how to receive. And it's like this relief. Good. And then as this care package is delivered to your higher selves from your spiritual families, inviting you to bring it in your own unique way. And again, this is through your river. So it's almost like even though they helped craft it, you were doing it of your essence with them at the level of your higher self, and it's of your essence. So it's not separate from you. It's kind of like an energetic bundle that you invited them to download for you. It's like resources, rations, certain reminders, energetic activations that you laid out for you. Good. So just delivering that. Inviting you to bring it in your own unique way. And it may be a time release, unpacking. So we're just watching the delivery, the receiving of it. And we're going to invite the body, Dave, and nature spirits to receive their own energetic care package from Gaia. Which again, they are one with, so it's not external. Good. Deep breath in. I'm just watching some energy shift as these come in. Some things just automatically leave because it's obvious we've outgrown whatever that was. Don't need that anymore. So it just goes whoop. So I'm just witnessing that. Inviting each of you to unpack this in your own unique way and encouraging you, once you've done so, and maybe it's incrementally as you activate and unpack and receive, to remember to balance and stabilize, update all grids, all reference points, so you're current with who you are in the now moment every so often, so you can sync up. Good. And then inviting each of you to connect to your most honoring trajectory timeline moving forward and the choices that unleash that for you. Inviting your energetic self, the part of you that knows, to set this up for you in a gentle, graceful way. It's almost like stepping stones into your highest and most honoring path, trajectory, timeline, experience. Inviting you at the level of your higher self to release all conclusions you've made in the past that aren't true about what you can be, do, and have, and to move into a greater freedom with what you allow yourself to choose. And whatever doesn't allow that, will you release and uncreate it? And can we show you and remind you what it feels like, how to, and that it's safe to be in your true freedom of choice, in choosing in the direction of what honors you, knowing that you do have infinite resources. And as you choose as the one who has infinite resources, you claim that version of yourself. It begins to manifest more and more and more and more and more. And you may wish to use an exercise in the upcoming days, especially as the light is brighter, it's easier to see things. Ask yourself as you go to discern and choose in your daily life, am I choosing from limitation, or am I choosing from the freedom that is the truth of me? What am I identifying as? Am I identifying as one who is limited, or am I identifying as the one who is free? And it's just awareness. And whatever doesn't allow that, will you release and uncreate it? The more aware you are, the more free you, it's like, become, in a way, because you begin to become acutely aware of where you're identifying as limited, and therefore that's what you've agreed to be, and therefore that's what reflects. So the more aware you can be of what you're identifying as, and then make the correction, invite your higher self to make the correction for you. I choose my freedom instead. I choose to be the one who is free instead. Higher self, will you reinterpret this for me? I'm willing to release all the meaning I've given it. Those are the tools. There are others you can use. And you can think of it as, maybe when you notice that you're maybe identifying as the one who is limited, you can begin to get acutely aware of what that feels like. It's like, oh, that's heavy. It's a little constricting. It's like a contraction. It's like I'm not even taking in a full deep breath. And as soon as you notice the contraction, the limitation, you can literally, this may be your way of doing it, take a deep breath. I choose who I am instead. It's kind of the attitude there, where it's like, I'm not going to stay in this contraction of me as the one who is limited. I really see where I've been identifying there. And so you begin to repattern. You can use the breath to literally repattern that way of identifying. But it's all still free will conscious choice. So you can find your own unique ways of navigating, but the first step is the awareness of what we're doing, of what's actually occurring, so that it's no longer unconscious because we're aware of it. And now we're in choice. Then you're in your power. Good. Deep breath in. It's coming in, it's clicking in. I can feel it. Balancing, stabilizing, lock that in. Update all grids, all reference points, all ways in which you perceive and are perceived. Beautiful. So as we complete this transmission, we just invite each of you to feel free to share your feedback with us. You can email us and connect with us and let us know how you're doing. If you found it helpful, you can also comment. Once we upload it to YouTube, there's places to comment there. And we look forward to connecting with you all again very soon. If you do wish to join us for this series, Being in Liberation, I can tell you it's going to be potent. It's going to be power packed. We're going to do a lot to claim that being in liberation as the new default. And so you can feel into whether it resonates for you to step into that. And we'll look forward to seeing you all very soon. And in the meantime, may you remember your conscious choice to be free, and that it's available to you. Much love.